Do you remember this video?
Today we're talking about JoJo Siwa's humiliation ritual that she has been going through because clearly she has sold her soul to the devil.
Then you might be entitled to compensation.
Look at my mouth. It's exactly how I feel.
At the time that video was made, JoJo Siwa was already steeped in lore and controversy for their comments on being gay pop Jesus, their amazing persona switch up, and this TikTok.
You're still a traitor.
Many would have thought that we'd seen the last of JoJo after their hit stolen song, Karma, came out.
Karma's a bitch. I should've known better.
But oh, were we wrong. See, this is what happens when you hate too much. People become more successful with more hate. Attention is currency. JoJo, have you learned nothing? JoJo, have you learned nothing? Since early 2024, JoJo has been busy in the studio and in their personal life, creating new music such as their EP, Guilty Pleasure. You see, in 2024, JoJo released this EP with hit tracks including the stolen Choose Your Fighter.
When you choose your lover, that's when you choose your fighter.
The Polish pop banger, Yesterday's, Tomorrow's, Today, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yesterday's, tomorrow's, today.
And the ever self-referential title track, Guilty Pleasure.
I'm your guilty pleasure.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure.
Other notable releases since include the AI-generated single, Iced Coffee, with quite frankly inspiring lyrics like the way you grinded my bean, and in case that went over your head, don't worry, Genius Annotations has got it for you. Her clitoris. She uses overly sexual and explicit lyrics in order to show her rebrand and the remove of her childish side. This is shown as it is massively different than Boomerang. Boomerang being their 2016 hit from their JoJo Siwa Kids era, that unironically might be their best song.
I don't really care about what they say. I'ma come back like a boomerang.
And since their music career has been relatively dry in 2025, they started to fade from pop culture relevance, but fret not, for there would come an opportunity that simply could not be refused. Celebrity Big Brother. Now, Celebrity Big Brother is the celebrity version of the classic hit reality TV show Big Brother, where contestants are tasked with spending a summer in a house with other housemates where they compete through physical and mental challenges to see who comes out on top to win the grand prize. Not only that, but they can be under surveillance by viewers 24/7. They also have no access to the outside world, including their cell phones or internet access. Now, the normal Big Brother season is typically 3-ish months long. It does last an entire summer. Now, they would never put a celebrity through the same amount of time as a plebeian person, so the Celebrity Big Brother season only lasts 19 days. So shortly after the release of the Guilty Pleasure EP in July of 2024, JoJo went public with a new relationship with Kath Ebbs. Kath has a pretty large following on Instagram and TikTok, not to mention JoJo's millions of followers on both platforms as well, but for the most part, it seemed like a pretty healthy relationship with boundaries and privacy. So they went public in December of 2024, and the reason I bring up their relationship is because JoJo's time in the Celebrity Big Brother house would prove to be a massive test. Over the 19 days, JoJo would be called the F-slur, grapple with their gender and sexual identity, and maybe find love. Some of the other housemates this season include Danny Beard, Drag Race UK Season 4 winner, American actor Mickey Rourke, and Jezzy Nelson of Little Mix.
Oh, my
Sorry, her ex-boyfriend, Chris Hughes. Now, pretty early on in the season, JoJo and Chris did begin to develop a sort of close bond with each other. Let's call it a bond. Let's call it a bond. On any given day, you could find JoJo and Chris embracing, cuddling, and even sharing the occasional kiss on the cheek or forehead. Now, at the time, I really didn't think that much about it. To me, people go into the Big Brother house and they often feel very lonely. And so they kind of look to other people for sort of that physical touch aspect of their life. And on a normal Big Brother season, it does usually end up to be like a relationship or something like that. But the celebrities are only in there for like 2 weeks. So to me, it really wasn't escalating into anything crazy at the time. Also, at the time, JoJo was identifying as a lesbian. And so I was just thinking like, okay, well, there's nothing there. It's just a good friendship between a straight man and a lesbian. Stranger things have happened. Also, there's an element of how produced reality TV is. I mean, I only really saw clips of the two of them cuddled up, and I feel like they couldn't have possibly been like that the entire time. I mean, JoJo also seemed to get pretty close with other members of the house, like Danny Beard. However, Danny Beard did call out the closeness of JoJo and Chris's relationship many times, both in confessionals and to their face.
You two need to either fuck or stop.
I'd be prepared for your girlfriend to throw some punches.
Now, after only a few days, Mickey Rourke decided to get really homophobic.
It's a lesbian I'm gonna vote out. I need a...
But as a result of Mickey's behavior, Chris did kind of come to JoJo's side to defend JoJo and to say, you cannot say that.
You can't say that, Mickey.
And also literally and figuratively acted as a shoulder for JoJo to cry on.
Getting upset, aren't you?
So I'm like, okay, I'm understanding this relationship. It makes sense. The two of them are really close, and it seems like he's an ally. Like I said, JoJo's a lesbian.
Oh no, I'm not lesbian, I'm queer.
Now, queer in 2025 holds a much different definition than it did in, say, the 1980s before the community reclaimed it. And so, in an emotional diary room confessional, JoJo sat next to Chris, which beyond me of why Chris was in this. I think it's because they came to Chris with this information first, and so Big Brother decided to call both of them into the diary room. Now, in this confessional, JoJo comes to terms with their gender identity, saying that they accept any and all pronouns, and also that they are toying with the idea of identifying as non-binary.
Non-binary people are who I feel the most like.
I think it was a huge deal for JoJo to talk about this, especially as a young person on such a big television show. It is important to have conversations like this, and it's cool to see that JoJo was brave enough to bring it up. JoJo did receive a letter from their mother and Kath, their partner. It read, "The most important thing to tell you is a message from Kath, because I know you really miss them the most. Kath is keen to see you when you get out." In quotations. Kath and I have had so much fun while you've been away. We've had lots of FaceTimes, and they've even come over to my house to watch the launch show. So Kath is being a pretty supportive partner while JoJo's in the house. Now, viewers were quick to notice a spiteful tone to the message, or rather to project a spiteful tone onto the message. I'm gonna say project because I don't think that Dr. Siwa or Mrs. Siwa or Ms. Siwa or Mick Siwa or Kath were intending to be spiteful or pointed in this message. Now listen, to make matters even worse with the letter, the person who read it aloud to JoJo on air was...
The most important thing to tell you is a message from Kath, because I know you really miss them the most.
And again, at the time, I'm trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt here. I'm like, okay, it's Big Brother, people get close, yada yada yada, ga 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 ga. Is this that deep? And you know what? I guess it was, because even JoJo kind of seemed like they sensed a tension about the letter and said in a diary room confessional.
They didn't even say in the note that they loved.
For that confessional, I had kind of just chalked it up to the internet doing its thing and hating JoJo Siwa. Everything would be fine once JoJo left the house. Kath is not feeling uncertain or self-conscious about the relationship. Everything's gonna be fine. I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm big enough to admit that I was wrong. Because not 24 hours after JoJo left the Big Brother house, JoJo called it quits with Kath at the wrap party. Now, Kath did reveal this in a now deleted TikTok, but you can find it all over the internet. They talked pretty candidly about how embarrassed they felt. I don't think that there's really a reason to be embarrassed for having faith in your partner. And they also talked about how exhausted they are of receiving comments and DMs about this. People were putting down their relationship and JoJo and Kath all at once. But I guess there was a silver lining because they seem pretty proud to have shown up for their partner despite everything. Kath did confirm that everything that we saw on TV, everything we thought we saw, everything we know we saw was how it was. I think it's important to remember that dragging someone through the mud of their relationship drama when you do not know them and you do not know either of the people in the situation is rude and just adds insult to injury and is like just salt in the wound. I think all this conversation had more negative effects on the person you thought you were advocating for.
Hey guys, it's Jake. I'm editing this video, and an interview between JoJo and Chris was released in which they addressed their relationship together, in which they said it is strictly platonic, and JoJo did elaborate on their breakup with Kath. They explained that Kath had said that they didn't want to attend the after party, but then did last minute. JoJo said that at the party, Kath asked them if they were happy. I said no, and so they did indeed break up at the after party, as their ex-partner had claimed in a video shared on social media. JoJo also said that this decision was made in the house. I realized things I was okay with in my life that I should have never been okay with. They stated, adding they knew that as soon as they wanted to leave the house, they wanted to fix things in their life.
I also think it does kind of suck because in the media, there's not really that much non-binary representation. And of the non-binary representation, it does seem like they get a lot of hate. Whether that's because of their actual actions or because of just things that are being impressed upon them. For example, like Demi Lovato never really did anything. I think there's just a lot of stories about them. Sam Smith is another really good example of that. Hello, I made a video about it, go watch it. They get so much hate for just being queer and being non-binary. It just strikes me as weird that this is always happening. Now, I'm not trying to defend JoJo's actions. I will say, JoJo is 21 years old. How many of you had your life figured out at 21 years old? How many of you made mistakes at 21 years old? I think we all fucking did. Now, did I make them on British television? No. I do believe it's not as big of a deal as everyone's making it out to be. I feel bad for Kath. However, Kath is 27 years old. I just feel like you shouldn't be dating crazy younger than you are. Some reporter basically asked if Kath thought that JoJo was like the one. Kath had responded that they fully planned on like proposing and marrying JoJo. That's none of my fucking business. That's none of my business. It was a 3-month relationship. I don't think anything is really that deep. It does suck that Kath flew across the world basically to get broken up with. That is really shitty. Like, yes, I do think JoJo Siwa emotionally cheated in the Big Brother house. Yes, I think it was really shitty that JoJo broke up with Kath literally at the after party after Kath had flown all the way out there. Am I going to send a 21-year-old hate or tell them my opinion on the matter? No, because it's none of my fucking business. It's not my fucking business. Now, if you want to go out there and be like, Chris should have been more respectful or something like that, absolutely go for it. That man is 31 years old. I do not think that he should be cuddled up with a 21-year-old. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. That's my opinion!
That's my opinion!
Anyway, it was all worth it in the end because JoJo won. 3rd place. Anyway, if you like this video, please consider leaving it a like. Leave a comment. Would you have stood by your relationship with JoJo Siwa while they were in the Big Brother house doing all that with Chris Hughes? Also, remember to subscribe. Make sure you click that bell so that you get notifications every time I post. Also, I have a podcast. We release an episode every other Monday, and on the off Mondays, we release on our Patreon. Check the link below. Follow me on Instagram and X at JakeThatcher_, and follow me on Twitch at ThatcherJake. I have to go grind my bean. Bye.
Ryan Gosling boss crashes into us. The guy by your side is such a heavy